That's gone from earning like $200 a month to now averaging around $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And then on top of that, there's a sponsorship coming that's going to do 4 videos for 20K. So you can start unlocking brand deals without being a million or 100,000 plus subscriber channel.
Today we sat down with one of our clients, JC, known for his interview and frugal living videos. He's breaking down what it was like working with us, how we took his channel from 2,000 subscribers all the way to over 60K plus, helped him generate around 5 to 10K additional revenue every month, and how he closed 20K brand deals through his YouTube content, making it ultimately all the way to Fox News. Let's get into it.
Yeah, thanks Gary, thanks Riley. My name is JC Rodriguez. I have a YouTube channel called The Frugal Rich. This is actually my second YouTube channel. I started one years ago and I kind of went about it all the wrong way. I grew this other YouTube channel under my name. It was all from YouTube Shorts. That's how I grew this channel. Got up to 500,000 subscribers. But in the end, if I ever tried to upload one long form video on a Shorts channel, couldn't even break 1,000 views. And so last year at the very beginning, I decided to pivot and just start a fresh channel with only long form videos because I wanted to build like a true community, and that's where the Frugal Rich came from. And that's when I brought on Riley and Guri's help through VisionSeek.
How was your experience with the sponsorships or any brand deals that you might have gotten due to the YouTube game you've been doing with us?
Yeah, so of course with YouTube, you want to not only be consistent, but you want to be sustainable and you want to last in the space. And so hard truth is, in order to continue making YouTube videos, you have to earn money from this YouTube business. And so there's two big ways to do that. There's like the AdSense side, and then there's the sponsorship side. And then of course, offering your own product is the third way. But thankfully through VisionSeek, like we've gone to a point where like AdSense, just the YouTube platform paying me for uploading videos and then running ads on my videos. That's gone from earning like $200 a month to now are averaging around $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And so if you reach that point, like your AdSense is already paying for your editing and your YouTube channel and all of the things you're outsourcing. And then on top of that, if you're being consistent and you have a clear target audience, then brands are going to start reaching out to you because they know that you talk to a specific demographic that they're also targeting. And thankfully for me, we started unlocking brand deals through my work with VisionSeek. Since we were already consistent and our videos were getting consistent views, brands were comfortable reaching out to the Frugal Rich channel. And we've had brand deals from $1,000 to up to $3,000. And this was from a channel at the time that only had 20 to 30,000 subscribers. So you can start unlocking brand deals without being a million or 100,000 plus subscriber channel. Like you can start doing it pretty soon if your target audience has already been designated for like your videos.
In terms of sponsorships, could you share what your biggest win in terms of sponsorships is currently?
Yeah, so just a couple months ago, we were able to lock in one YouTube video with a 60 seconds ad integration for $3,000, which is great. And it was a brand that's super aligned with my audience. And then we even have upcoming, of course, I can't talk about who the brand is, but there's a sponsorship coming that's going to do 4 videos for 20K with an ad integration for $5,000 per video. So things are growing as you're growing and as your, audience is growing as well. So you just don't know. And it's awesome that like the ceiling is, there's no ceiling basically.
Yeah, that is amazing. That's why I kept on emphasizing, and I do emphasize this to all of our creators, that by keeping the consistency, by building the audience, you will be exposed to brand deals, different companies that are looking at your channel closely, and then they will not hesitate to reach out and get you these type of deals. And that's really amazing to hear. What was one of the or many struggles that you might have had before joining to work with us when it comes to content?
Yeah, one of my biggest struggles was consistency. Because in order to build a community on YouTube, like you have to continue to show up for them. And for me, I was trying to piece together all these elements of a channel together all by myself, from the scripting to the writing to the editing to the even publishing. Like that takes time as well. So the big key to being consistent is by removing as much friction as possible. I decided to treat this more like a business and actually bring people onto a team to help make that happen and like keep me
Mhm.
accountable as well. And I think that's super important at the beginning of starting a YouTube channel. Like you need to have some accountability. So that's one thing I struggled with throughout all my years on YouTube, and one thing that I've been able to improve on this last year.
Yeah, for sure. Because we do emphasize to everyone that is working with us that for the long term success of the channel, it's really important to keep the consistency. Because if you're like uploading for a day and then you disappear for 2 to 3 weeks and you come back, you will not have a sustainable audience, which would be problematic when it comes to the long term success. So, definitely something really important for everyone that is willing to or wants to start a new channel in 2026 for sure. If you are interested in scaling your business and building a personal brand, click the link down below to apply and work directly with us.
In terms of the strategy specifically, what would you say? I mean, what was your experience during that process, or what could you take away from that?
Yeah, let's just say I wanted to start a fresh YouTube channel, and I wanted to play the YouTube game the right way. And one of the big parts about trying to play the YouTube game is understanding your audience. And so this channel, The Frugal Rich, it's not exactly your typical personal finance channel where, I talk about how to invest or day trade and what's the best credit card. The audience I wanted to attract was, well, we found out was different. And thanks to through like some of the strategy provided by you guys, like we were able to lock in like who the target audience is for this kind of channel, a channel that's focused on more frugal living, more on like how to save money around the house. We were surprised to find out it's actually a lot of like middle-aged women that are watching these videos. And so once we, found out who these videos were for, and like YouTube gave us the feedback and the analytics, then we were able to go all in on a strategy to help make videos that appeal to this audience. And once we started doing that and like we narrowed down the audience, things just started,
Dude,
popping off, man.
speaking specifically about the strategy, and I know we changed up a few things along the way, obviously to find out the exact audience member. And once we did, I know that we went into like an outlier strategy specifically on like a sit down talking head video where we pretty much just broke down, first of all, the audience type, and then second of all, we produced that video specifically for them. Could you speak a bit more on that video? It was your 90% video, I feel like. That was the idea that we came across.
Yeah, no, I think people watching probably want to hear specific video examples of like how we were able to get traction on this channel. So one thing that we dove into is once we recognize this audience, you know, we outlined which channels were actively growing in this space, like the frugal living, middle-aged woman style videos that like, appeal to this audience. And we always focused each call on like what are the outliers, what's performing well. And in particular, one video we found on this smaller YouTuber's channel that was performing over 90 times better than her typical videos. And it was all around like, as the title structure was 93% of people grocery shop the wrong way. This is how to do it instead. And so we took that title structure, we made it my own version. And honestly, we just created a video independently. We just knew that this packaging worked and we wanted to emulate that packaging. And once we did, because it was an outlier for this other small YouTuber, it was also an outlier for our channel. And I think it's now sitting over 400,000 views. Like for a channel at the time of mine was only around 20,000 subscribers.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also something that we do to keep, besides just keeping the consistency, we do try to keep the consistency of improving as well. Looking at the analytics, see what's working, constantly looking at the competitors, the trends, etc., and then just kind of gathering all that information to create the outliners and the videos that do fit to your audience, and just testing things out constantly to see what's working and what's not working within the channel.
I mean, in terms of the services, what would you say was like the most valuable thing you've gotten from working with us?
Yeah, I would probably narrow it down to three things. One was the accountability. Like when I signed on, Guri's always active in the chat. Like, hey, where's the footage for this video? Because sometimes I'd be falling behind, and he's not afraid to speak up and to say like, hey, let's stay on track with our schedule here. This is what we said we were going to stick to. And for me, it's 2 times a week. So accountability, one. Second is having another person to look at my analytics. I'm really bad at looking at my own numbers and stats. So having another person like Riley to actually look through at the performance of an old video, so I can just focus on making videos. Like that's great. Sometimes it's easy for a YouTuber to get caught up in their numbers and over analyzing. It's good to have like a second set of eyes to look at those things. And then third was the editing. And I think just with most people trying to make videos, editing is probably going to be your biggest time suck. And so, they have a really skilled group of editors. And heck, I even sent them videos of other YouTubers that I just like, hey, I like this editing style. Can we try to replicate this in my videos? Then the editors were super adaptable and were able to change up the style to what I wanted. So those were the big three services that I felt was super helpful for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Because we do have like people trained specifically for each of these areas, especially when it comes to analytics, strategy, and the overall editing. And there's supervisors that constantly work back to back with the editors to ensure that the editing style, the creative direction is being met to the likings of the creator, in this case, you. So yeah.
Mhm. And let me drop like a little tip for people who are outsourcing editing and possibly using Vision Seek. These editors watch your entire like raw video of you just talking to camera. And so they're going to get to know you. So might as well use that time to give them some verbal notes while you're maybe reading your script or talking about what you want to talk about. Sometimes I'll be recording and saying like, hey, here are the 5 steps to budgeting. And I will verbally tell the editors, can you make a graphic showing the 5 steps as I'm saying that? And then I'll just continue on with my script. And so that's one way to shorten the learning curve is by just straight up talking to your editors while you're filming. Whatever metadata YouTube needs to make your video pop off, they'll take care of all of that. So you're not caught up in the weeds too much. So that's what's super helpful from start to finish.
Yeah, for sure. That was the main goal that we wanted to, create for everyone that is struggling with content or wants to use the content to build their personal branding. And we would take care of everything. So obviously the creator doesn't have to spend so much time in it besides just recording the videos. All of this packed into a package. So everything that you have to do is just record and the rest is taken care of.
I always say that one of the best parts is like how it's almost like you guys are more on top of my channel than I am. Like the communication's always like really fast, and typically it's them reaching out to me first about either footage or thumbnails or on an update from my channel. And you want those people on your team who are just as invested, if not even more invested into your channel than you as the creator, especially if you're trying to make this a sustainable business. Like you don't want YouTube to burn you out, which is a common pattern, and you want to be able to kind of share this load with other people that care. And that's what Riley, Guri, and the whole team have been able to provide for the Frugal Rich YouTube channel.
The point is not to just produce content and be done with it, but the point is to generate, more revenue into your business, getting those brand deals through the consistency of the content, building like a digital product. It could be a course or anything like that. So you add more into your business.
A little bit of a side tangent. So I know that you hopped onto Fox News, the TV show. How was that experience, and how did it come about?
Yeah, so one of our video styles are street interviews, and one of the big series we have is we talk to the quiet millionaires, around America. And so I just got an email out of the blue after we've been uploading this series consistently they told me that the host of this show on Fox Business likes the content, wants to ask me about it tomorrow. So literally this email came the day before the news segment, and of course I've never been on national TV, so might as well say, yeah, get this first experience in. And so they brought me on. Literally looks like this. It looks like a Zoom call where it's just my face on one side and the news on the other. But that was just it was a pretty nerve-wracking experience, but also it ended up being a really great experience because I do want to start becoming a personality in this personal finance space. And doing things like that is just one of those first steps to become that media personality. So yeah, you don't know what kind of doors are going to open just from hitting upload and publish on social media and on YouTube. You can end up on the news the next day.
Yeah, which brings back to our previous point. By keeping the consistency with the uploads, you never know who's watching, and the next thing you know, you might end up in Fox News. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So for the people that are probably thinking to working with us, but they're kind of still on the fence, what would you say to those people?
Dude, I would say, as the CEO of your YouTube channel, part of your job is to bring on people who are better at certain things than you. You know, I thought I was a great editor. I thought my editing would be enough, but turns out I don't like editing that much. You know, like I could do it, but one, I can't do it as well as the editors at Vision Seek has, and two, you know, it's kind of repetitive watching myself and having to go through my own raw footage to piece together a video. So, you know, sometimes it's about thinking instead of how I can do things all the time. Sometimes you need to think who can help me do these things all the time. And so that's just a mindset shift. There's a great book on it, Who Not How, that'll get your mindset in that state. But definitely bring people on your team, and of course, you can always try them out. You know what I mean? Like there's no loss in anything you get from Vision Seek. Is going to be a learning experience for you, and however direction you want to take your channel. So.
For Fox News, JC. Thanks a lot, JC, for finding your time to connect with us today and sharing a bit about your experience and everything else.
Thank you, guys. Make sure to subscribe.
Let's go.
Cheers.